headless rider of Ikebukuro has returned in the second season of Durarara. Yes, it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for the second season of this amazing show, which has an amazingly huge cast of characters, which are all really interesting. And what I really love about the first episode of the second season is it felt like it never left. It's pretty much an exact continuation of the last series, and almost nothing has changed. Mikado will let you know that almost immediately. It really does feel like going back home if you were a fan of the first season. However, I think the most interesting thing about the first episode is how they're getting ready to set up this arc. And it's going to involve the character of Celty, of course, who is the famous headless rider herself. And I almost feel as if she's going to be framed in this arc, because there's this other killer in town who is known as Hollywood, who is going around killing people and doing it with these really elaborate Hollywood-style masks. That's actually where this killer got the nickname, and everybody's trying to figure out who it is, and just the fact that it's someone who wears a mask and we haven't really seen who they are, this gives us a great excuse to sort of like pin it all on Celty herself. But the episode actually opens up in typical Durarara fashion with a lot of cool action. You have Celty going through the city on her badass horse bike, which goes through a lot of cool transformations as it's running up a building, and then suddenly transforms into this massive sailing manta ray, which goes across the sky. And again, just like the previous season, they sort of jump around with the time, and basically it's just an excuse to sort of, get us like used to seeing Ikebukuro again and getting to see all of the characters and being reminded of them. There are some new characters, but not many. Really, it's just a lot of old faces that pop up, which frankly, it's just great to see all of them. But what's really interesting is I'm already starting to play the guessing games of who Hollywood is, who the actual killer could be. And I think the most obvious one is this character who, his name escapes me at the moment. He's this famous actor, I believe his name is Yuhei, and his last name is suspiciously close to that of Shizuo's. And there's a scene where they're going over his career, and Shizuo is sitting there watching the entire time, looking as smug and badass as ever. And I love the stuff he was doing in the intro when he was fighting. Just, the intro itself is great. It's basically just a really big roll call for all of the characters, but it's dressed up nicely, and there's even this one little part where they sort of try to remind you a little bit of what was happening in the first season of the show. And I thought that was really a good thing to do for this episode. But through the episode, they sort of go out of order of the events of which they happen. They finally go back to Celty, who actually ends up getting caught by this TV crew who's trying to talk to her because they don't realize that she's actually on a horse. And this is when the cops decide to give chase and this massive scene goes on. And really, that's just the bulk of the episode. They're just sort of reintroducing you to all of the characters and setting up this brand new Hollywood killer arc, which I think is going to be really cool. And I did really love that one scene where both Mikado and Henri actually saw Celty riding by. It was very similar to the very first episode of the series, and it all ends with our very first shot of Kita, which will definitely make the fans go crazy. So what's the rundown on the first episode of the second season of Durarara? It was pretty good. It's an exact continuation of the first season, and fans of the first one will really dig that. People who are just jumping in for this season might be a little confused, especially just because there's so many characters and so many callbacks to the original series. Otherwise, this is really a series that is made for those who watch the first season, and I think it did a good job. It still has the same style, the same animation, everything looks great. There's a lot of little touches that I like. I always love watching Celty's bike transform into a horse. It looks really awesome. The opening scene will certainly grab your attention. The intro is a lot of fun when it introduces all of the characters, and it happens to have a lot of good animation, especially when you get to see Shizuo going completely crazy at the end. He's such an awesome character. And then just really throughout the whole episode, it's just a roll call and just getting to see all your old favorites again. You know, I especially love seeing Celty and Shinra. Their whole relationship is just so ridiculous. I mean, and of course, getting to see Celty work with Shinra's father and Amelia is just, there's a lot of laughs in that scene. Just the funny moments where she actually has to bring out her phone and type it out real quick and like talk to her is just really funny. And just the prospect of this Hollywood killer thing, I really think that's what makes this whole thing interesting. And you know, I'm actually surprised. I didn't even know there was going to be a second season of Durarara until like a month ago. I didn't even know, and supposedly there's going to be a third one like right after this starting next year, so clearly they're getting ready to build up a lot of cool things for this story, and I'm interested to see where they're going with it. Otherwise, the first episode was okay. It's got me excited again, and it's great to see some of my old favorite characters. I'm just really interested to see what they're going to do with this brand new arc and what they're going to do with some new characters. It's gonna be crazy. So there it is. I liked the first episode. It wasn't perfect for me. I wasn't as excited as I was hoping to be, but it was still another really good and high quality episode of Durarara, and Durarara fans are totally gonna dig that. So I'm gonna give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. Check it out, guys, if you watched the first season. If you're deciding to watch this one, I would still recommend watching the first season first. You'll just be able to appreciate all of the stuff that's in this show right here. Still, I'm really excited to see where this story is going, so check it out, guys. Pretty good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about the first episode of the second season of Durarara. What do you hope to see from the brand new Hollywood arc, and what do you want to see from the rest of Durarara Season 2? Remember, guys, before you leave, you can also subscribe to our channel by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.